Alright, so this is my game 377 sprint. Mostly playing catch up this week with the terrain system. So I didn't have collision working last week. So this week I got it working and then refactored it for the new system. That's why this is terrain object now instead of just terrain. And we have a few more classes. Main one is detecting cells from collidable, where we pass in a collidable object and it'll give us a list of the cells that are colliding with its AABB. And we use the default B sphere to get that. But of course we have our helper functions that let us convert between getting points and the index that we're on for getting the min and max. So when we detect cells from a collidable, we construct the AABB, and then using the min and max point from that, we know which how far into our index we should go for our min point and our max point by moving that into the grid space. Give us those indices. Have a nested for loop, so that we could just iterate through that, and then for each index we use those functions of the getting the min and max from the by passing in the index, and then we would use that min and max to create these terrain cells, and then at the end return the cell list. So then we use that in the collision commands. So in our execute, you'll see that we have the first collidable group, and for each one it's going to go through that, through this for loop, until it reaches the end of that collection. And then each time we set the command cell list to detect cells from the current collidable that we're on. And then we're able for each cell calculate collision at that point. So we create an AABB for the cell using its min and max, and then we call intersect from our math tools on the cell ABB, and then B sphere. If that passes, then we can actually call it. Well, if that doesn't reach, then we reach this point, meaning that the collidable group is colliding but not the B sphere. So if we get past that point, we reach the B sphere point, and if we get past the B sphere check, we use the actual collision volume. And then we can also call terrain collision on that collidable, which is another thing I added. So terrain collision, every single object can have a terrain collision function. It's a virtual function for collidables, so for our game objects. And then right now I have it I was testing my player. So you'll see our collidable group is colliding, so you'll see the green visualizer displaying for each one of the AABBs. And then when we get close enough, you'll see that the yellow ones are the ones that are intersecting with the B sphere, and if we get even closer to the user defined volume, you'll see the red spots where we're actually colliding. And then that's how the terrain collision essentially works now. And just for the sake of completeness, here's my terrain object manager class, same thing as my other asset managers, essentially using a map, and then we can load and get terrain. I forgot to rename this, but it's unloading all the terrain. Yeah, just simple way to get and set the terrain, go through the manager. I didn't get much more done with the actual game, or the I got a little bit more done with Fmod, but not significant change to show. So for this week, that's pretty much it.